Hello, everybody, and welcome to this tier list. Well, it's not really a tier list. We're gonna talk about how likely it is that our side quest seasons of Dimension 20 will get, well, a new season. The reason why I want to talk about this, I was just thinking yesterday about it. Honestly, it was Misfits and Magic and Dungeons and Drag Queens, and it was like, okay, those two side quests already got basically a continuation, and so I wondered which others would be possible for that. And if you don't know, at the moment, it seems kind of like that we get one big season, and with big season I mean the Intrepid Heroes per year, normally around the summer times, and we get like 3 to 4 of the side quests. That's that's how it has been now for at least the last year and the year before that. Kind of also started out that way. So yeah, I was just kind of interested into this conversation. So yeah, knock something over here. Yeah, and I would like, of course, to hear your thoughts on this as well. And we're just gonna talk about it. I have like two criterias, kind of three. First one is the series, is the season beloved by the fandom and also by Dropout. So what I mean by that is, do the people want a new season? Do the people at Dropout want a new season? And are they interested in it, of course? And does the fandom want a new season of that? Um, well, that world. Because if, of course, there is not a big fandom there, then it wouldn't be so, how do you say it, lucrative maybe for Dropout to make another season in that setting. So that is kind of like one aspect of it. So how much buzz, how much talk is there around this season still today after it has aired? And then the other criteria is, well, the world in, well, in these fantasy stories in general. Like, does it make sense with the characters to continue, or did we have like just a slice of life kind of story where it really is, we have seen it all basically, or is it truly something that the characters have not fulfilled their arcs yet? And yeah, those are the criterias. Of course, one other criteria will be my biases. Oh, sorry, hitting the mic. And yeah, but there's not a lot that you can do about that. And by the way, I also want to talk about the things that I like. So you will see how this all goes down. With that being said, let's jump into it. Already talked of them, so I want to take them up here. Misfits and Magic, and also Dungeons and Drag Queens. I mean, we have both seasons here, so I'm just gonna put both of them there. And here we also have a Misfits. Yeah, no, those two I pretty feel good about, that there will be another story coming with these characters in these worlds, just because it is beloved by the people. I feel like it is beloved by the Dropout, by the actors. They talk about it a lot. That well, a lot, but like when they talk about it, you truly can feel and see that they have some reverence for it, if that's the right term. Yeah. By the way, the categories here are like very likely to return, will probably return, maybe, and unlikely. Now, I will not say any of the timelines, basically. This is not like, oh, this means that those two will guarantee come back next year. I don't think that is the case, but I do feel like they will come up at some point. It can be a couple years till then, but I feel like they're coming. So let's talk first about Misfits. It is a beloved fandom. I mean, the fandom loves the show, and it is pretty likely that I can see them being interested in doing more of this world, and especially seeing Ibrea crafting out and figuring out this magic system. If it even is I mean, it is a system, but like the whole second season was about what is the meaning of magic, basically. And I feel like there is a lot of story there that we can still explore. All our 4 main characters have, they are, like I've said before, they're not my favorite characters and it's not my favorite season, but I can see there's a lot of potential there to explore and to figure out where to go next with these characters and with this world. So yeah, I would be excited to see a new season of Misfits and Magic. Now another one are my darlings, the Quest and Queens. I love them. I've said it before, probably my favorite series. It is the thing that got me into Dropout and honestly also got me into D&D in general. And yeah, I just love it. I'm gonna be honest, I mostly put it there at very likely because of the fans and Brennan, and they all just love the drag queens. Like Dropout loves the queens, and as I have heard on like the podcast of Monet and Bob, they have talked about how they're treated really well at the set of, well, in general, not just Dimension 20, in general, when they work with Dropout. I mean, Monet got her own show on Dropout, Monet Slumber Party. Check it out, it is fun. And I just see them working together in that sense. So that's why I feel like it's very likely, and the fandom loves them. At least, of course, I'm also a Drag Race fan, so I see a lot of overlap there. So maybe it's just in my bubble, but yeah. Now, actually speaking of the characters themselves, there was a total clear for me. Like we had season one, and then we had season two, and it was obvious, like there were so many unanswered questions in season one, and that we needed a season two. Now, the season two ended quite in a, how do I say that? Not stern, but it ended quite definitively. Yeah, in season two, the ending of it was quite like every character had their arc, every character got kind of what they wanted, it seems like. And yeah, it would be interesting to see another season, and I feel like we will get there, but I'm not quite sure. And what I mean by that is I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with the world, the characters. Still, there are endless possibilities, of course, and I'm excited. I really want a new season. But there's also another reason why I said that. I noticed in the first season they already were talking about the second season, and not like the story or anything, but they were like, "See you in season 19," and it actually happened that the second season was season 19. Maybe that was coincidence, but I don't think so, because they said it in two different adventuring parties. They talked about that. So and they did a similar thing at the end of season two, where the queens were like talking about like, oh yeah, save that for season three, and being kind of like, it's coming. But maybe that's just a projection on my side. I'm reading into things too much. But I feel like they need to what's it called? They need to clear the schedules. That's what I wanted to say. And I feel like with four drag queens and of course Dropout themselves, they have to make these appointments at least a year ahead, probably even more than a year. And that's what I mean when I say I don't think like we will get every year we will get a new season of Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think that, but I feel like it could be something that returns every 2 or 3 years, maybe four. I don't know, but I'm excited either way. Okay, now we come to the seven. I feel like, let's talk about the Pirates of Leviathan and the Seven, because they both are the spin-offs of the world of Fantasy High. Oh, I think I have not even mentioned it yet. The reason why we don't talk about the main stories, by the way, like the Fantasy High, Unsleeping City, in this manner, is because there is still Clouded Ho going on right now. So um, I want to wait till that ends and then talk about this and with those seasons as well. But back to the seven and the pirates. I feel like there is potential here. I personally think now that the seven are very likely. I We have seen the cast of the seven still in the realms of Dropout, like, and yeah, we have seen the cast in Game Changer, we have it seen in the Parlor Room. There are different settings where they have appeared, basically. And I feel like they will have a comeback. And I feel like we will get the seven before Misfits and the Drag Queens. Like, I feel like the seven is closer to us, basically, timeline wise. Just because it feels like a good time. We had the first season of Fantasy High, And now I would say, like, maybe next year or some years in the future, it is a good moment to reintroduce the world, or like to have the fandom of Fantasy High, to give them something. You know what I mean? To give them other part of the story, and that we will have a Fantasy High season 4, but I feel that will be at least 5 years out. That's my guess. I don't feel like that will come before that. So yeah, give us the 7, and I see it very likely that this will happen. The story of the characters can go anywhere. Of course, it always can go anywhere, but it opens up the world for us because we will be kind of loose away from Eggford. Maybe. It doesn't have to be, but it could be that we will be away from there. But again, speaking of that, we also have something similar with the Pirates of Leviathan that had nothing to do with the world or the realm of Spire directly. So it can happen with the 7 as well. And the characters themselves, they're all in so different places. Like, we really left them open-ended. Like, it was kind of that they wanted to stay together, but that they also, it was right to, or okay to go on and pursue something that you enjoy, like the acting from I forgot the character's name, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's so much potential there to see how do they manage their own lives and staying in this group. And I can really see there be interesting dynamic and a lot of stories that are untold yet. Now, the Pirates are a little bit different. I'm gonna put them honestly in maybe. And maybe to me is just like a coin toss. I cannot tell you really. I don't feel like the thing is, we had this season during the COVID times, during the lockdown. So I would love to see these characters in the dome, because the online seasons were not bad, but the dome, you cannot. It is the dome, you know. It is a specifically crafted place to create D&D or like tabletop magic, and you cannot have the same feeling online, I feel like. So me personally, I would like to see it, but I don't feel like the characters or like this season has like a big following, you know. I never really have seen people talk about this season that much, I'm gonna be honest. And I don't know how the people at Dropout feel about it. I'm gonna say that as well. Now, for the characters themselves, I'm also honestly have to say I don't feel like that is likely. Maybe I need to bump it down to unlikely, because the problem or the thing about this is, yes, we had Leviathan in season 2 of Fantasy High, and there was a lot unexplored there. And so they made this spin-off. Like, I don't know if this is the real reason, but it is a good place, a good setting to make a side quest. Now, we have explored a lot of Leviathan, and I just don't know how much more there is to explore. I feel like the characters, yes, but Leviathan in itself, I don't know how, if we have not seen it all already, you know? So I leave it in maybe, just because I feel like it would be great to see it back. And I don't, and again, it goes in hand with what I've said about the 7. Like, in the between times till the next Fantasy High season come out, give us the 7, give us another spin-off like the Leviathan, the Pirates. So I could see it because of that as well. But it also could be a totally new, totally different group of people somewhere else, Inspire, doing something new and different. So. And now we come to the Court of Fae and Flowers. And I'm gonna say this is probably coming back at some point. I feel like it would be a great return to this setting, because they have not done something like this until now, never again. That's what I'm trying to say. And I would like to see it return. I do feel like a lot of people like this season, me included. So maybe that's also a reason why I put it there, because I want to see it back. But I do feel like it would have a lot of potential, and yeah, I feel like the crowds would be behind it, and I feel like also the people who worked on it, and especially Abria, put so much into it that I could see it having a return at some point. And in terms of the characters, I feel like this could be really open-ended. This would be a season where I could see have even maybe different people to get full on crazy here. Different people at the table, or have the people play different characters. It also could be a different time, like the is it called the Blumening? But like this event that is going on. It has been said before that it happens. I'm not sure if it happens every year, but it happens multiple times. And you could go to different times in the fairy realm to look how they acted back then, or have again new characters, not these old ones that we already know. Even though I would love to see the cousins again. It could be a mix that some play their old characters and some play their new characters. That would be also fun. But I see a lot of shenanigans and potential here that could going on, and rumors, and like even more intrigue and scandals. Honestly, that would be a lot of fun. Now we come to the escape of the Bloodkeep, or escape from the Bloodkeep. I'm sorry. I'm also gonna say maybe. I cannot really tell you because this is, I feel like, the second season. This was the second season they did, and the first side quest that they did in Dimension 20, as far as I know. And it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I don't see, however, the fandom or in general a lot of people talking about it. And it could be very well to the reason that it was so early on in the Dimension 20 history that over the time more and more people came on board, and it is not nostalgic for some people. For me, it is also not nostalgic, I'm gonna be honest. But it was a really good season, and I could see them bring all these people back, and I could see the story continuing, because they have now the demon child, the demon lord, and it's kind of like, okay, what are we going to do with that? How are we going to raise him? And there could be all kind of family drama going on in this tower, kind of weird, almost Adam's family vibes. Yeah, that's kind of the best way to describe it. Now we come to the Burrows, and I'm gonna say it's kind of unlikely, honestly. Now, I don't see a lot of people talk about this. Maybe I'm wrong again. I'm not in all the Dimension 20 spheres out there, and I just feel like it is kind of a finished story. This is kind of what I was talking about before. Burrows End feels like it is done. Not like to say that there is not more potential there, but I just feel like the story has finished. We got our characters kind of where we needed to get them in a way, and to do a second season, I personally think it would be really different, because you have now the humans involved, and it would be it would not be impossible to pull off, but I feel like it would be totally different from season 1, and maybe, but they could also do some weird experimentation, because it was kind of bloody, it had this sense of the wild, one would say, and but I don't just feel like it's gonna to happen. Now, similarly about the next one, Coffin Run, I don't feel like there is a lot buzz about this season. There is not a lot things going on. I personally loved the cast. I really like them, and so I would love to see a return of them. And I also want to see the DM or the GM of this season. And I've honestly forgotten her name, but again, names and me do not work together. Maybe I put it in maybe. I can. But no, now I'm gonna put it back in unlikely because of the characters. I like the characters. You can go watch my tier list videos of every character in Dimension 20. No, not every, but every PC. So, but I don't feel like the story will go any further. And of course, there are undead people, so they're not meant to change that much. So I feel like we have seen basically what they are about, and I don't see them be different in a second season, which not always needs to be the case, but it is kind of okay, you basically are a vampire and you will stay like that forever. And not all of them are vampires. I think actually only one was. Was Zack a vampire, or was he something weird goblin child. Anyway, but yeah, I just don't feel it's likely. I would like to see it, honestly, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. Now, Mice and Murder, my biases will show through. No, I honestly, personally, you would think I want to put it up here because it is one of my favorite seasons, but I'm only gonna put it in maybe, and it is pretty much the same. Um, what's it called? The same argument for the pirates that they're in the same category. It has been done during COVID, and that is the reason why I kind of would really like to see it done in the dome as well. But I don't think it is a reason for Dropout to make it happen. It's not like, oh yeah, we need to give them a chance in the dome. I don't feel like that's how they're thinking and operating. And yeah, I personally would love to see it, but that's that. And we have gotten the characters, and the thing is, the characters, some of them only work in this scenario. So we needed or would need another scenario kind of like this, and like Gangly and the Vicar, they could not be part of it really because unless it is the same place, you know, or like in this area. But I would see a second season of Mice and Murder as they go to a new scene or like a new thing is happening, and it has the potential of having the characters change up. So I would actually say that Ellie, what's it called, the fox, is played by Grant. Genau, Ellie, Grant, and Reika, that those three probably would stay the same and basically be kind of like this trio solving mystery, while the other three characters would be changing. Um, Again, maybe even the players who portray them could be changing. And if that would work, I don't know. So it is pretty a self-contained story that works perfectly, and I don't know. Also, don't feel like there's a lot of the backstories of these characters that we have not explored yet. We have pretty much seen um, all that it is there to see. Maybe, maybe not. But I personally would like it. I just don't think it will happen that soon or at all, maybe. Now we come to Mentopolis, and I honestly think Mentopolis is a probably. There will probably another season of this, just because the idea is so cool, and I know I have said like that the setting would maybe be the same. You know, we have the same problem with the Pirates of Leviathan. Like, would they stay there? But I think the Mentopolis, it is really not explored enough yet, or it can have even more to offer in the sense of the different body parts as well, so that not everything happens really in the brain, but we will extend to the body as well. And the thing that most I personally feel like is the interesting part here is the outside character, like the human man that all of our six players, or like even Brandon, like are playing. You know, like the big guy or the big man. I don't know. I think it's the big guy. Call it him in the series, and he basically invented psychic control, you know. So his life is gonna be wild. I feel like he can be really become or get into wacky situations, and then we get go into his brain and it will be like, oh, what's going on here? And this is another one of those seasons that I feel like people talk a little bit more about, and just especially the players themselves really embodied those characters, I think. And it was just such a joy to see them play it out. And it was just feeling they wanted more. And again, this is kind of when I talk about what wants Dropout to do. Of course, they have to think about money. That's their company, but I feel like they do a lot of things also based on how much enjoyment and how much they liked it, you know. And I don't know, this season to me just exudes so much passion by the people playing at the table. So I can definitely see seeing making it a return. So now we come to Never Stop Blowing Up. Now, I personally would also, this is one of the seasons that I want to put up here, but I'm also gonna have to put it in maybe. I'm not sure if there will be ever a second season of this show. Because, I mean, now speaking in universe first, it was that they got sucked into the tape, had a wild time, came out, and now what's going on with their lives? It doesn't seem like at the end they get another tape, but it does not feel like that they needed it. Like it could be, however, has a lot to do with Jumanji. In Jumanji, it is kind of the second. Was it the second one or the third one? Like from the newer Jumanjis, the second movie, or like in all of the series, it would be the third. Um, One of the kids wants to go back. He's like, no, I want to go back into this world. And so basically the others go after him to save him. And it could be pretty much the plot of another Never Stop Blowing Up. Um, and I have seen a lot of people talk about it. So, I mean, like online. And this is another season where I feel like somewhat like in Metropolis style, it is shown by the players how much they enjoy it. Like the energy on the table was crazy. So for that, I maybe will put it in probably. Yeah, yeah. No, talking out loud, I feel like I would put it in probably. However, if that's gonna happen, that will be some years in the future because Never Stop Blowing Up just came out basically, and I feel like it will take some time to make another one. But I would be really interested in how they're gonna make it happen. Like, they could still be all working in the video store, but it was kind of going downhill. Even though they got a boost at the end, I'm not feeling like that this video store will be around forever, but maybe it will. And I would be excited to see that. But let me know what you think in the comments. I'm just thinking about the characters and the characters' journey in this series, and I feel like also there we have gotten something by everybody. And of course, that's not to say it would not be nice to have a check-in with them, but it is kind of like, okay, you have fulfilled your arc. Um, is it even necessary to revisit this world, to revisit these characters? It could also be that we use different characters here as well, but I don't. That's not something I would like here. I feel like here we need to have kind of the same people because it is not. We don't spend so much time outside of the tape. So we actually don't spend so much time in the real life, and I feel like there is probably a lot more that we could grab onto in the real life outside of the tape. Now we come to the Ravening War. I'm gonna just say it, unlikely. Very unlikely. I don't think we will return to that. It is not because people don't talk about it or because the cast didn't feel it, or I feel like it checks all the boxes of a great um, season. The people loved it all around. But, well, it is done. It wouldn't make zero sense to return to these characters, to return to this timeline. Um, the same thing, I'm going to talk about this more when we talk about Crown of Candy in another video. But basically, you can have the realm of the Crown of Candy. Gorgeous, great, we can do so much there. But I feel like every season that deals with that probably needs to be a different time. Like we need to jump 100 years back or forth, something like that. It cannot be like the exact same people in the exact same time period setting. It doesn't make sense for a story like this. So I do feel like if you ask me, will we see this world again? I say yes. Do we gonna see this exact cast in this combination? I don't think so. Now, Shriek Rig, I'm also gonna put it in unlikely. There are multiple reasons for this. First of all, I've talked about this before. It is a funny season. It is hella funny, but there's kind of all that there is to it. The story doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, and I also don't see people talk about this a lot, except now, this is something new information that brought to my attention, but I'm not going to elaborate on it because I didn't took a deep dive. But allegedly, the dungeon master of that season kind of said problematic things online, or something came out about him. I didn't go looking for it. I just was like, oh, okay. And yeah, I'm going to be honest. I much rather had the Coffin Run lady back to DM something anyway, because again, his DMing prowess, I didn't feel like we're up to the standards of Dimension 20. But nevertheless, it was a entertaining season for me. The Ellie and all the other people at the table really work magic there. Now, Tiny Heist, I'm also gonna put in just a maybe, but I don't feel like we could explore it more. For those people who are new, I'm not really the biggest Tiny Heist fan, but the ending, like I said it before, like literally the last scene of Tiny Heist was what I found the most interesting, because we have a toy speaking to a human boy, or like just in general to a human, and it was kind of like, oh, that is interesting, because that is kind of the idea of Toy Stories, but in the way that we are like now interacting with the other side. And I would like to see that more. So I actually would be here for a second season. I'm gonna be honest, I would be here for the second season, because the characters also had like their life seems so short in a way, like of these toys and insects and whatever. So a lot can change in a short period of time, and I mean, who doesn't like a good heist? We can definitely return to that, and could see that be a lot of fun. And I don't feel like there's like a lot of Dropout merch concentrated on Tiny Heist, and so I don't feel like they also have like a big or like a big target, or like this is our next thing that we're gonna do is Tiny Heist. But it could be possible. I wouldn't put it past them. Now the next one or last one is Titan Takedown, and this is kind of difficult for me right now because Titan Takedown was literally 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and so for me it feels like unlikely because it just happened, but I shouldn't take the thing. I shouldn't think about it that way. So I'm gonna put it in maybe. It could be. Titan Takedown is basically a wrestling season. And I'm not American and I'm not into wrestling, so I can truly not say how people felt about this season. And this is what I'm talking about before, like with the drag race. I'm more in this bubble, so people talk about it there, and I have no contact with wrestling in my life ever. I'm not saying that it's not fun, because I do know, or I learned that it is actually a lot of performance in there, which I never really understood fully when I was younger, so that's the reason why I didn't get into it. I could see it happen, but I don't know. The characters could go different ways because we only got 4 episodes with them. That's not a lot of time, and every episode had a fight in them. So I would kind of be interested to kind of get to know them more, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And yeah, that's the list of how likely I think it is that a season will return, or like a format will return. And yeah, I'm also looking forward to the new things, I'm gonna be honest. But I feel like there is potential to, like once a year, to have some kind of format return. That would be a lot of fun to see. And I'm looking forward to that. Now, the other seasons down here of the Intrepid Heroes, we will do as soon as Cloud at Ho is done. So subscribe if you want to see that as well. Leave a like and a comment. It helps me out a lot. In general, if you want to support somebody online, yeah, commenting, liking, subscribing is the easiest and cheapest way to support somebody. And I know it's not fun, but we have to do it. And I always do it when I want to support somebody online, because I want to see more of good content. Like I want to see the people flourish that I enjoy. So I try to support them in every way possible. And yeah, with that being said, I appreciate your time and wish you a good day. Bye.